is a new entity, I think. It's an extension of so many of the things that Anjum sir spoke about right now. And I think that one of the things that I would like to do while telling you about what went into writing Sacred Games, which was 1 year of my life, our lives, is to give you a bit of insight into what it takes to create a long drawn narrative that spans over 8 to 10 episodes and actually deals with characters over that much space. It's very different from writing a feature film. Right now, we just heard a wonderful, insightful talk on what it means to create a story in a very classic and recognizable form, which is a background that I come from as well, because I started in this business writing feature films. So to start with the story of Sacred Games, 3 people, Varun, Smita, and I, who had never written a series before, found ourselves in a room where we were given the mandate by Netflix to create their first show from here, their first internet Netflix original. Obviously, no pressure, and we were in there, and we were all people who have loved Fargo, have loved Game of Thrones, have loved The Wire, and now we've been given the opportunity to actually create something like that, and actually being told, "Chalo, jaake likho India ka Fargo, jaake likho India ka Wire, and India ka Narcos." So we all, I think after 2-3 days of the excitement, the mortal fear set in. You woke up in the morning and said, "How am I going to do this thing? How?" And I think the first thing that actually bound us together as 3 writers working towards a common goal was this dread that we are all going to fail miserably because we have no clue on how to do it. But we started. We had with us Vikram Motwani as our showrunner, who we all trust because he's made fantastic films like Udan. We had in the room Varun, who every day does the very brave thing, not every day, but very often goes onto a stage before a live audience and tells stories, tells jokes. So, shows courage over there. We had, I had never met Varun or Smita before, but I think each of us carried some experience of storytelling, but we did not know this yet. So, to give you a bit of perspective, why do you need more than one writer to write a show? Well, first of all, remember that a show is 6 to 10 hours of straight up storytelling. Writing a script sometimes takes people 6 months. A script can be 100 pages, 100 pages equaling to 100 minutes of screen time. Do the math and see what it means to write 8 episodes of 60 minutes each, So, to meet that scale in what we were given was 6 months, immediately says that, okay, you need more power, you need more people behind to create. Now, while Anjum sir was talking, he mentioned something that it is an unseen hand of the screenwriter that is guiding the action forward. So I thought of an example which might illustrate it for you. So if we just take a very basic story, like there's a plate with some cat food lying on that end of the stage. And there's a cat over here. And the basic action of the story is that the cat goes to that plate and eats the cat food. Now, if I wanted to tell that story in an interesting way, I would maybe tell you a story about a cat who had once eaten cat food on which some quinine had fallen and had made it very bitter. Yeah. So the cat stands here and keeps looking at that plate. And if there's a camera over here, you're wondering, why is that cat waiting to eat? Why isn't it going and eating the food? If Varun was to tell that story, he might tell the story about how the government has declared cats sacred, and suddenly for the cat to eat non-vegetarian cat food is not allowed, but the cat still wants to eat it and wants to figure out a way how to get to that cat food before somebody stops them. Smita might want to tell the story in a way that she talks about the cat, female cat, wants to go and eat that cat food and make a point that a female cat eating the cat food and a male cat eating the cat food is one and the same thing, and make a point that way. So each of us are seeing that action from the lens of our own truth. Now you tell three of us to take a 900-page book that was Sacred Games. Each of us will interpret each element of that story through the lens of a truth that we carry with us.